And so these are the two covers. And so the book came out itself in 1999. Stephen Chbosky wrote it. And this was the original cover. And then in 2012 they came out with a movie. And then of course they used the characters from the movie to put it on the cover of the book.
And then also this is an alternative cover, which is on the book that I bought. And this one's a little different, and Sean and I talked about it. It's an unusual cover because it's blank with one little picture in the top corner here. And we think that this really shows Charlie's personality as being a wallflower, someone who just kind of sits back and watches life go on around him, and he doesn't actually participate in life himself. And so he doesn't even participate in his own book cover. He's just kind of standing here in the corner of his own book, and that just really sets up his personality.
So a summary of the book.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of briefly detail the summary. It opens, it's an epistolary novel, which means it's comprised of letters, which Michael writes to this unnamed person. We think it's just written to the reader. And when he starts off saying that it's August 25th, 1991, and he's about to enter his freshman year of high school. And he's coping with the death of his friend Michael, who recently committed suicide. And so he's really nervous about going to school. But he gets there and he meets two friends who are seniors at school, Patrick and Sam. And they kind of live on the fringes of high school society. They're not like the cool kids, but they have their own little clique of friends who are kind of edgy, punk rockish. And anyway, with that friend group, they kind of adopt him. And he starts to experiment with alcohol, marijuana at parties, and then even LSD. And they also go every week on Friday nights. They go to performances of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is kind of like a teen cult drama that they like act out in front of stages, and that really builds like a sense of community with Charlie and his friends. And then, since his friends are seniors, they graduate and they're going to be leaving him behind. And during this time, Charlie kind of really starts to contemplate his future, and these memories of the repressed memories of Charlie's childhood start to come back to haunt him, of an aunt who had an inappropriate relationship with him, and those thoughts flood his mind, and he can't repress them anymore, and he has this mental breakdown, and he ends up in the hospital for 2 months. And so in his last letter, he ends the book saying that he's gotten out of the hospital. Sam, his friend, recently came back home from college, and they went with Patrick riding in his pickup and just had like one really fun night together, having the good times like they used to back before they left for college. And he says that he's coping with everything, and that maybe next year, his sophomore year, won't be so bad after all. And that's how he ends it.
And so we're going to share 2 readings from the book, and then we're going to show 2 scenes back to back. And so the first reading is going to talk more about Charlie's character, and so you're going to understand more about the summary that he just shared. And then the second one is going to be kind of portrayed in the second video clip, and that's going to focus a lot more on the cinematic things that Stephen Chbosky, who wrote the book and directed the film, did. So.
These are both from pretty close to the end of the novel. This is in his next to final letter. He's with his friend Sam, who he has a crush on, and they've just entered her bedroom on the night before she's leaving to go to college. As we entered her room, I noticed how different it looked from the night Sam kissed me. The pictures were down, and the dressers were empty, and everything was in a big pile on the bed. I said to myself that I would not cry no matter what, because I didn't want to make Sam feel any more panicked than she already was. So I just watched her pack, and I tried to notice as many details as I possibly could. Her long hair and her thin wrists and her green eyes. I wanted to remember everything, especially the sound of her voice. Sam talked about a lot of things, trying to keep herself distracted. She talked about what a long drive they had tomorrow, and how her parents had rented a van. She wondered what her classes would be like and what her eventual major would be. She said she didn't want to join a sorority, but she was looking forward to the football games. She was just getting more and more sad. Finally, she turned around. "Why didn't you ask me out when the whole Craig thing happened?" I just sat there. I didn't know what to say. She said it so soft. Charlie, after that thing with Mary Elizabeth at the party and us dancing at the club and everything, I didn't know what to say. Honestly, I was lost. Okay, Charlie, I'll make this easy. When the whole thing with Craig happened, what'd you think? She really wanted to know. I said, well, I thought a lot of things, but mostly I thought that your being sad was much more important to me than Craig not being your boyfriend anymore. And if it meant that I would never get to think of you that way, as long as you were happy, it was okay. That's when I realized that I really loved you. She sat down on the floor with me. She spoke quiet. Charlie, don't you get it? I can't feel that. It's sweet and everything, but it's like you're not even there sometimes. It's great that you can listen and be a shoulder to someone, but what about when someone doesn't need a shoulder? What if they need the arms or something like that? You can't just sit there and put everybody's life ahead of yours and think that that counts as love. You just can't. You have to do things. Like what? I asked. My mouth was dry. I don't know, like take their hands when the slow song comes up for a change, or be the one who asks someone for a date, or tell people what you need or what you want. Like on the dance floor. Did you want to kiss me? Yeah, I said. Then why didn't you? She asked real serious. Because I didn't think you wanted me to. Why'd you think that? Because of what you said. What? What I said 9 months ago? When I told you not to think of me that way? I nodded. Charlie, I also told you not to tell Mary Elizabeth that she was pretty, and ask her a lot of questions and not interrupt her. Now she's with a guy who does the exact opposite. And it works because that's who Peter really is. He's being himself, and he does things.
So fast forward maybe 10 or 12 hours from that conversation with Sam, and now Sam is gone. And so this is him having a conversation briefly with another friend. Are you okay, Charlie? Mary Elizabeth asked. I guess I was starting to look bad again because she looked worried. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I lied. I got into my dad's car and drove away, and I could hear all these songs on the radio, but the radio wasn't on. And when I got into the driveway, I think I forgot to turn the car off. I just went to the couch in the family room where the TV is, and I could see the TV shows, but the TV wasn't on. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like all I can do is keep writing this gibberish to keep from breaking apart. Sam's gone, and Patrick won't be home for a few days. And I just couldn't talk with Mary Elizabeth or anybody, or my brother, or anybody in my family, except maybe my Aunt Helen. But she's gone, and even if she were here, I don't think I could talk to her either, because I'm starting to feel like what I dreamt about her last night was true. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I know other people have it a lot worse. I do know that, but it's crashing in anyway. I'm sorry, but I have to stop this letter now. And so now we're going to watch 2 video clips.